Welcome to One Day in Transformation, the human side of global change. I'm Anthea.
And I'm Rainer, and today we are crossing the Atlantic all the way to Wisconsin in the US.
We speak with people from all around the world, from Europe to Africa, from Latin America to Asia, about leadership, inner clarity, AI, climate and culture, and the question of why change looks different everywhere, and yet always begins within ourselves.
Today's guest has spent over 30 years in one of the most complex technology ecosystems on the planet, SAP. He has built companies, shut one down, picked himself back up, and is now running not one, not two, but three interconnected ventures. And he has a thesis on transformation that I want you to sit for a moment.
Most transformations are just expensive ways to reorganize the furniture while the house is on fire.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Carter, chairman of and CEO of Approyo, founder of Muguto AI and Charging Bunny, best-selling author and someone who has earned every single one of those cars. Chris, welcome to One Day in Transformation.
Welcome.
Thanks, guys. I'm so excited to be here. And for all my friends in Germany, I am so excited to have them finally see me in Germany again.
Excellent. Chris, let's maybe start not with your CV, but with the low point. You've mentioned that you had to shut down a company and that it took you 2 years and a good bottle of scotch to get back on track. Can you maybe take us inside that moment, please?
Oh, it really did. Yes, unfortunately, one of my clients, I had built up a company, got it to a few $1 million, had about 36 staff members, and we were really doing staffing for an SAP company. And all of a sudden, 2 weeks before the end of the year, they came to us and said, you need to cut your rate by 65% or we're taking all of our work to our offshore team. And it just gutted me. Unfortunately, I'd put all my eggs in one basket. And so that company, it's a global company, and they literally held me hostage. And we just couldn't do it. We tried. And unfortunately, it ended up gutting the entire company. It was probably 80+% of all of our revenues. And they just literally, 2 weeks, everything was done. So it hurt. But I went off. I decided not to own a company for a while. I went to go work for another company that needed some help. And I just stayed away from the SAP ecosystem. I had a really bad taste in my mouth. And then one day, a vice president for SAP came to me with a bottle of scotch and an idea and said, hey, I need you back in this game. SAP's got this new thing called HANA. I need you to start being involved with it. And it's funny, and I'm taking off the glasses for effect. I literally flew to Waldorf 48 hours later. It was interesting. I got the dreaded 4 S's on my ticket. So they had to do all the security checks on me. I went there. I hated it. The 4 S's are horrible when you get those, especially international travel. So I got on a plane 48 hours later. I went to Waldorf. I met with a good group of people from Gunther and Anne and everybody, Stefan, and we literally sat in rooms and they were showing me everything about this in-memory database. Well, then I jumped on a plane, got back home, switched my bags real quick, gave my wife and daughters both all the kisses, and I was on a plane 24 hours later to the west coast of California, to Palo Alto, California, and that was the SAP's North America West Coast hub and their SAP labs. And I literally sat there for a half a week or so and came back home, and thanks to all of that, plus the relationships that I had built up over 20 plus years in the SAP ecosystem, I was granted one of the first SAP Focus Partner Program memberships. And that literally took Approyo and started the process of moving us forward as a partner.
So that means if you look back now, it does sound like it was not the worst thing that ever happened to you. It might have been probably one of the best, right?
It really was. It was definitely a learning process, and I've learned a lot from there. A, don't put all your eggs in one basket. But B, fight through these activities. There's a phrase that I use every day. This too shall pass. No matter how good of a day you're having, how bad of a day you're having, your best day is never going to be as good or as bad as your good day, but this too shall pass. And I stick to that mantra because when you're out there and you're in the thick of it and you're really working hard and you're one of those guys that are gals that are really moving hard, remember, it maybe look bad right now, but it will pass and the goodness will come forward. Or the goodness is happening and you better look behind you because you never know what's coming up on your backside.
That's a very good advice, which I can personally take just with me. We're running through a lot of projects at the moment, so yeah.
Absolutely. So you described that period as a time when, let me quote that, my brain was not into being a founder or an owner. So that's a very honest thing to admit. How do you rebuild belief in yourself, not just the business plan, but the inner conviction?
That's a great question. And my brain was not, I was not ready to go back to leading a company. I was not ready to provide my vision. A CEO and a leader needs to have a vision and a direction, and they need to have everything focused in it. And I really wasn't. It wasn't until that day that I started talking with Michael and we started drinking that bottle of scotch. And by the way, we finished that bottle of scotch at about 2 o'clock in the morning because I was calling people in Germany to get flights over. It was great. You know, one of the saving graces I have is I've been married for 27 years to an incredible woman who pumps me up once in a while and tells me, but she's also willing to tell me, hey, Mr. CEO, go take the garbage out. Go bring that to the end of the time. So
Keeping you
gotta
grounded.
have that in your life. No matter who you've got, it doesn't matter if it's your parents, it doesn't matter if it's children, if it's your significant other. As long as somebody loves you and is willing to push you forward and help you. I try to do that with staff members. I'm always trying to help the individuals in my company go up the corporate ladder of success, no matter if it's in our companies or if it's someone else's companies. If someone comes to me and says, hey, you know, I've got an opportunity at this company, I will give them, I'll give them a recommendation. I will help them. If I know the CEO or somebody in the company, I'll let them know how talented they are and try to help them in that regard. And I think everybody needs to have that cheerleader or that support system behind them. Because going back to your question, you know, that was a miserable time for me, that 2 years. I felt horrible about my staff, that I had to let people go, that I had to put the company down. There was no way around it. And I never, ever wanted to deal with that type of activity again. So as somebody who wears his emotions on his sleeve, I always try to remember that period of time in my life and try to help others and try to be their cheerleader just like someone else was my cheerleader.
So how does that experience shape how you lead today, especially when things get hard?
Oh, great follow-up question. Ooh, I like your questions. So I remember that time and that period. There was a 6-month period of time where from that 2 weeks before the end of the year to when we had to bring the company down, that I was simply miserable. I didn't sleep. I had to go through all legal and all these other activities that were out there, and it was absolutely miserable. And then I had to go out and find myself a position. Somebody was very kind and said, hey, we want you to come in and lead this team. But even then I felt insecure about who I was, what I was doing. Is it going to fail again? Am I going to fail? And we all get those moments where we feel like we're inferior. But I go back now to my phrase, this too shall pass. And it wasn't that I was inferior. It's just that I had something happen to me that I was not prepared for. I overthunk it quite a bit. And thunk is a technical term. And so I went off and I kind of hid, I guess would be a great point. I hid away and I became a sales guy and I helped another company. And that helped boost me back up because I succeeded very, very well in getting them to the mission that they wanted to accomplish above and beyond. And so I learned through those steps. And now as the CEO of multiple companies and investors and soccer teams and such, I always look back at that period of time and think, okay, this is as bad as it can get. Now let's make sure that we never get there point. Let's strategize on how we're going to make sure that we don't have all of our eggs in one basket, how we're going to grow, what we're going to do, and let's keep that momentum and that process moving forward.
Excellent. Chris, you mentioned Waldorf, you mentioned the headquarter of SAP, and if I'm just remembering right and just researched right, that journey with SAP started while you had been still in college. So now
Oh
it's a
yes.
couple of days later, maybe 30 plus years, and you're running an AI company and a sustainable energy venture. When did you feel the pull to go beyond the SAP world? When did you think it might be a good idea to do something in addition?
Yes, I've always been an entrepreneur. It's been quite interesting. I started as an entrepreneur in high school. I actually printed up little plastic vellum business cards out of my business class, and I coordinated with my business class and activities to sell these. And I've always loved that pull. So when Approyo was taking off, we needed a way to be able to support organizations and manage their landscapes. Well, I wanted to do more than just manage the SAP landscape. You've got the hardware, you've got the clouds, you've got the Barracuda networks, yada, yada. And so we built a tool called Overwatch, and I really love that tool. So 4,600 touch points, it'll manage everything and non-SAP. And so I said, let's turn this into a separate company. Let's keep this entity. Now, it does work fully with all of our clients at Approyo, but the AI portion of that, at the predictive analytics, along with the management and monitoring, really blossoms and gives us the ability to be able to do other things. And so for me, I love being able to use this. And as an AI first company, we utilize our AIs, our anti-gravities, our Joule from SAP, our Geminis and so on, Claudes, and we use that to continue to build blocks within the entity. And it really, truly, for me, it gives me something to be able to think about at different points of the day with our customers and how we're going to leverage it, what we're going to leverage. And so probably, what now, 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago now, I really put some effort into making sure that that tool and how it was going to interact with each other. And then lo and behold, just at the same time, the state of Wisconsin was offering credits and being able to do things with sustainability and with charging. And we've got this whole I-90 corridor, we call it here in Wisconsin, for charging capabilities for cars. And I wanted to help the environment. I'm not a tree hugger in any way, but I still believe that my planet should be sustained. And so I've got a Tesla. My daughter, unfortunately, steals it from me and drives it all the time. But I went out, I was here for a fact again. I literally was in Arizona, one of the warmest and sunniest states in all of the United States. Literally, of the 365 days a year, at least 360 of them have sun coming through. And then you've got rain once in a while. And I saw these places where they weren't using any solar power whatsoever. And so I created a device and how you could bring your car in, how you could battery backup thing. And I started working with some other engineers because I'm a computer engineer. So I just did some rudimentaries, and the mechanical guys came in and gals, and we started designing this. And I'm like, this isn't that difficult. And yes, you've got different grades of solar panels and blah, blah, blah. And we did all that. And I just thought, guys and gals, we can really fix our planet just a little bit. Even if we added 5% of solar to the planet, it's amazing what we would do from an energy cost. And I'm all in with the data center build outs here in Wisconsin, and I know you are as well. I think the data centers in the Wisconsin market and in the Midwest is got huge opportunity, and people don't see that. They just say, oh, it's going to cost my energy this, and it's going to, like, okay, well, you don't know any of the research, so let me tell you some of the research. It's amazing how, and I don't care what your political, I don't care your religion, I don't care who you sleep with, I don't care about that. What I care about is, do you know the truth? Do you know what really happens when you start up a data center in your city, in your town, and how it's going to be leveraged, and what are the costs, and what are the ramifications of this? Do you know that they reclaim most of their water? And so I started getting into that, and part of that is EV, and it's part of it is solar, and people just don't get that those are the pieces of the puzzle that they don't see because they're not willing to listen to them. They just think coal burst turbines, and they think this, and so yes, I've played in those and cross-reference them, and they all work together hand in hand very nicely. And I love the fact that I can do that and I can help give other people advice and based upon my knowledge and growth.
That's amazing. And you wouldn't believe who we recorded just recently with. And this is we're recording now on March 10th. And next week on Monday, which is March 16th, we are publishing that episode, which is with Scott Wharton. Scott used to be in Logitech and is now the CEO of Tandem PV. So perovskite solar company building all in America solar panels. And he is leading that company in the Bay Area and San Francisco. So, and that is a wonderful example of what you said. He said the same thing. It doesn't matter whether you're politically in one or the other direction, whether you believe in climate change or not. The one thing is that matters at the end of the day, price and economical aspects will lose any kind of discussion. If you're cheaper in producing energy than anybody else, you will, and you have to. And exactly with that, what you said, data centers, I mean, they're popping out like mushrooms out of the bottom all over the world through AI. And so therefore we have to find an answer and a solution for exactly that. And there is absolutely zero which brings us across anything else but renewables. And that's exactly what we can just put a strong focus on. I love
100%. Yeah, and he's doing great stuff out in the Bay. Great stuff. I was supposed to go out there for the Stripe conference, and unfortunately I had to switch up my schedule, but I'm hoping to get out there pretty soon and see him.
We'll connect you in case you're not able to just meet directly in person. We'll do so.
Please tell Scott I'd like to catch up with him one of these days.
Perfect. So, Chris, let's talk about your three companies because the way you've described them fascinates us a lot. So, Approyo is the cloud and SAP backbone, Muguto AI is the intelligent layer, and Charging Bunny is the sustainability play. How do you see these three fit together, and was that by design from the start?
Well, as you laid out exactly, SAP Cloud Partner for SAP, the sustainability level with Charging Bunny and activities, and the AI predictive analytics layer with Muguto AI. And the Muguto AI and Approyo, those were planned. Charging Bunny was not. Charging Bunny came about because I wanted the Tesla. I started to see the tool. I was out in Arizona. So, but they all three came together very nicely. Just as we were talking a moment ago, the sustainability activities that we do here in the United States are horrible. I'm very disappointed that our current president took some of those incentives off, but I also know that we need to incentivize our companies here as well as Germany needs to do to Germany. We need to do these internally with each other and get people to start using some of these. It's not that hard to put solar panels on your roof. It's not that hard to put battery backups and generators in all of our yards. I know of builders here in the United States that I work with personally in Wisconsin that have a 100%, I kid you not, off the grid capabilities, all solar, all reclaimed water, they're in Muskego, Wisconsin, and it's fantastic. They've got over 100 homes, and not a single one of them has to worry about the connection to what we call We Energies, the energy team here in the southeastern Wisconsin. And it is so easy to do, but people get hung up on the Sierra clubs and these different effects and these different taxes and different activities wrapped around it that they forget about the common base. Well, yes, all three of them in one way, shape, or form can be together. Now, I haven't created my own data center yet, so that's sustainability activities there.
Soon to come.
I'm loving the new little mini nuclear facilities. I'm loving the activities here in Wisconsin where data centers are coming up. But I would also like to take some of the older data centers that are now kind of like we have with power units. They were shutting some of them down. Well, now they're bringing them back up and retrofitting them. There are a lot of data centers here in the Wisconsin market alone, and this is where I've been doing my research is here. There are over 30 plus data centers that we could reclaim, and we could utilize those entities if they're not willing to let us bring in new facilities. They're already licensed, they're already ready to go, we just need to reclaim them. And so I would love to see all three of them go across the board and work together. But I have to decide if I want to buy or build or buy and reclaim a data center on my own.
Make or buy? That's the biggest question at all times at IT since long time ago. So let's just stick quickly with what you already mentioned. I mean, George and Bunny is built on the conviction that solar powered EV is the future, and I am 100% with you. We are so without any doubt. But you're in the US, and it's 2026, and we have a political environment which is definitely not very much focused, like you already said, on sustainability. It's more the other way around. But how do you hold that conviction when the wind is blowing against you that you're doing the right thing as an owner and a CEO of a company?
Yes, that's a great question. And I'll be very upfront. I did vote for our president, and I realized that he was going to take some of those subsidies away in those activities. What I see as the benefit is twofold. One, I still believe this planet is a good planet and we need to take care of it. I've got two incredible daughters who someday will tell me they're going to give me grandchildren. So I'm going to make sure that the things I do are going to be good for them. Two, I fully believe that no matter what, individuals are going to still drive EV cars, no matter if it's a Tesla, Lucent, whatever the case may be. And they're also going to see the benefits of using solar and non-traditional coal-based energy power plants and activities wrapped around it. And I see it with what they're building in Muskego. That's 100 plus homes. They're doing another subdivision and they're growing another subdivision. And people, it's just a little tweak on how they're using or they're building their homes. You're now adding solar panel roof tiles. Look at the Tesla Corporation. Has solar panel Tesla tiles that you can add to your home that are built into the facility. And other pieces, reclaimed waters and other things. And so I don't see that going away. And so I want to be there to help. I made reference to the I-90 corridor charging project. It does not have to be billions and billions of dollars thrown at it to try to make an entire revenue stream of millions. When you're using these types of efficiencies, the benefits will continue to come from those.
And that's a wonderful already direction, which is to the next question, which we've asked Scott Wharton as well, is what would you say to Europeans and to executives, maybe even from Asia or from India, who think that the US has given up on sustainability? I mean, you've already given a part of the answer, I think, already, but maybe you can just rephrase.
So I have not given up. I know some people have, and that's understandable. We're a very cyclical nation. Every 4 years, somebody new could be coming in. There are ideas and concepts wrapped around everybody. I personally have a long-standing hold that these are a benefit to us as humans, to us as Americans, to us as end users of these tools. And the cost structures are coming down so we can get better solar. And I tend to focus on solar. I tried to get involved with the wind farm activities many years ago. And I was having some issues and I decided not to move forward with that organization. But I love the solar activities because that big yellow ball up in the sky, that's everywhere. And it can be it's a beautiful morning. This morning, we got no cloud cover. No matter what, you're still pulling from that solar. And so I love that fact. And I think no matter what the climate is, in what country, in what political venue, what activity, the cost structure that's there, it's such a benefit as long as we're not fully mandating or fully utilizing coal-based and coal-powered, which unfortunately we are here in the U.S. for the most part, unless it's nuclear. There are benefits to those. And I'm going to continue to talk about those benefits to people. And like I said earlier, I'm not going to sit outside and hug my tree, but I am going to give you the truth, and I'm going to make sure that you understand that there are benefits to help us as a planet for the long sustainable future.
And to all the listeners out there who would love to hug their trees, please do so. Please feel free. We're not judging.
I'm the only person in this house that talks to my bonsai tree because I took it and made it healthy again, and now it's got green leaves.
Like that.
So you said something that stopped us in our tracks. So most transformations are just expensive ways to reorganize the furniture while the house is on fire. So what do companies actually get wrong, and why does it keep happening?
Oh, geez. Well, I think the same people are involved all the time. And that's why the furniture just keeps getting moved around and around and around. I walk into some of these companies and say, oh, we've got to change this, we got to do this. Well, when you bring them back the proposals, and well, that's too expensive. You know what? We're just going to do this. We're just going to do the way that we've been doing because it's been working for us. We still make our 7% for our shareholders every year. I tend to look at things a little differently. If you really want a transformation and if you really want to change the way you're doing things in this world, you really got to look inward. And there are a few CEOs that are willing to do those types of things, and there's a few that just, no matter where they go, they do the same thing over and over again. I revert back to a gentleman. His name is John C. Massey. John C. Massey is a Tennessean. He took 3 different industry corporations, including Kentucky Fried Chicken, AHC, and I forget the third one, to the United States Stock Exchange. 3 different industries, 3 different types, but he knew that each industry was different, and he focused on what made them unique and how to better them, and he made them great. That's the kind of mindset that we need in order to do those things. You can't just stay focused. This is it, nothing else. If it's outside that box, forget it. Especially nowadays with AI. My gosh, we haven't even put. I'm going to use I'm going to use a soccer analogy. We haven't even walked onto the pitch with the young kid holding their hand and the referees guiding us to line up for our photo yet before the match. And that's how early in this AI activity, and everybody thinks we're changing so rapidly. Well, we are. It's because every one of the AI companies, be it ChatGPT, be it Google Gemini, be it Claude, whatever, they always announce their next update. ChatGPT announced 2 of them last week. We went to 4.5, then we went to 4. So they announce that stuff, and they market that, and they promote that because they want people to use it. Well, the same thing is for a transformation. Get outside of that box. Start thinking, utilizing more, and stop having the same people make the same decisions on the same activity. Same doesn't get you anywhere. It's reflection and thinking.
I love that, and that builds perfectly the bridge into our next question, which is exactly about AI, because it's anyhow, anywhere in every conversation right now, whether you're just going shopping on the weekend or have a private conversation or even on football fields, AI all over. You've been building AI for over 3 years now, which is in AI terms at least an eternity. So you're much more experienced maybe than most of the others. What are, from your perspective, things that companies still fundamentally are misunderstanding about AI and transformation?
That's a great question because I see this every single day. Matter of fact, I had a 5 a.m. conference call back to the UK with a firm, and without naming any names or making any comments, and I hope they don't feel that this is them. They literally are. They're just grabbing whatever tool they feel they want. They're not putting together an ROI package. They're not putting together what are going to be the benefits for the company. If you see no benefits as a company, why are you even working on it? What you need to do is you need to sit down and strategize. Now I'm going to put the glasses on because they make me look smart. And this is what I ask people when they're working with an AI tool is, first of all, what division or what part of your team? Is it going to be your sales and marketing? Is it going to be your development team? Is it going to be your code team? Is it going to be your management team? Is it going to be your distribution? What part of your organization are you trying to do a test on? Okay, now you know that. Now what tool are you going to use? Not all tools work equally and can work in each area. A quick little joke of a story is somebody who tried to use Canva, the marketing where you can make these flyers with AI and stuff. They thought that's what they were going to use for some of their code activity to make sure that their code was right. And I literally said to him, I said, you want your code to look pretty? Is that what you're trying to do?
What if my question is?
Exactly. And I said, that's not what Canva does. Canva is what you use to send out mailers and emails. It doesn't do anything with code. And they were all perplexed because they had no idea. They were trying to figure it out. And I got it. He was not a tech guy. We'll be very honest. So you've got to figure out if you're going to use Canvas for sales and marketing, Gammas, and all these, those are sales and marketing tools. If you're going to use Claudes and anti-gravities and perplexities and stuff, that's what you use in regards to your code validations. And then you've got And so always make sure you're getting the right tool for the right scenario.
Correct.
And then when you have that all put together, now what's really critical is you need a bigger, better, faster, stronger human being who's motivated, wants to be a part of that organizational change to take on the responsibility of that ROI confidence. Because that individual, that's the person that's going to be, and I'm speaking all around the globe, bigger, better, faster, stronger humans with your AI tools will create the bigger, better, faster, stronger AI solution. And this up here, and I'm going to take these off for effect, 2 ears, 2 eyes, 1 mouth. Use them accordingly in regards to the direction you're using your AI tools.
Bigger, better, faster humans, and not what we currently mostly have, scared of losing their jobs and being replaced by AI humans. And that's, I think, exactly the right direction which you pointed towards.
That was the presentation this weekend in Nashville. And I'm not going to swear because I said, has AI, FUCKED, up your brain in the new job world, or in the new world of work. And I had the largest group of individuals in my presentation. We had over 60 some people specifically, and I felt bad because people had like 2 people in their room, and it was horrible. And the last 2 speeches were exactly that scenario, because people are so worried about what the media said or what people are saying. It's going to take your job away. No, bigger, better, faster, stronger humans, because you're now lifting these humans up from the baseline level, 1 level up. Now they've become the ones that they need to understand the tools, they need to understand what goes into the tools, and they need to understand what's coming out of the tools to make the decision. Because at the end, a human has to put their eyes on that decision from the AI tool and to validate that A, it's not lying, it's not hallucinating. 2, that it's really what I asked it. Do I need to tweak my LLM? Do I need to tweak my prompt? Did I get the right information? Is it giving me substance? And people don't understand it. But if you upgrade that human just 1 level, make them stronger and more they're really going to take off. Jeff Wolf wrote a book about 1 year or 2 years ago that I follow religiously now. I asked my AI, my Gemini, which is my BFF, mind you. My wife says it's my work wife. Gemini might get jealous pretty soon. But I will ask it prompts to ask me a question so we can have a conversation back and forth to get to the answer that we are both looking for. And it's worked ever since I started doing that about 1.5 years ago. My prompts, my ability to interact with my Gemini has just exploded. And that's a huge benefit to everybody to learn that activity.
Absolutely. I can fully agree. Now, to all the listeners out there, if you're not watching us but listening to us, which most of the podcast listeners do nowadays, then you are not able to see what's behind Chris. And there is a guitar and a cowboy hat. Now, taking a quick question off script, Chris, if you may allow me to. I just had a great conversation over the weekend at a music festival, which had the opportunity talking to people from the music industry, and they are super afraid at the moment, looking to what's happening through AI with music. And they gave an example. It's I'm to be honest, I hadn't had the time to research if it's really the case or if it's just some kind of rumors. But they said the charts in the US Billboard charts, and in particular in the country charts in the US, out of the top 10, 5 are AI made. 5 of the current top 10 titles are AI made, without very little human interaction or just a little piece of it. Do you think that AI will convert even that industry? Is that something which will have an influence, which we already see, which is already there? We don't just probably believe in it?
So I got to be honest here. I built myself a Suno album. So Suno is an AI-based songwriting and creation tool, SUNO, for anybody that wants to go out there. I don't know if they're on the charts because I don't follow the charts. I tend not to read or watch those things. But I can tell you this. I created songs, of a full album. I don't know what I'll ever do with it. And half of it was country music, and it sounded really good. I sent it around to a bunch of friends of mine, including a executive producer friend of mine, because I did his album many years ago. I said, so what do you think of this new song? And he loved it. He was like, oh, this is great. I said, well, I built it on AI. He goes, no. I said, yes. He said, your job's in jeopardy. Look out. So he actually went out there and he started playing on it. So I do have an album. Half of it is country and half of it is rock and roll. So I was trying to do a Rammstein album song one time, and it just didn't play very well. I think it was because I didn't have the fire flames coming out of my back. But that was funny. So yes, I definitely see that group. And it's funny because I was in Nashville and I was joking with somebody. We were talking about AI and the different things. And they said, well, AI will never get on the stage at Bluebird. I said, oh, I bet you it will. I bet you somebody will create a song. They will fall in love with that song. And what they will do is they will work on the voice. They will work on the tone. They will work on the activities wrapped around it. And then that human will take everything from the AI world, bring it on stage. Heck, they made Milli Vanilli it where they're lip syncing.
I was going to say exactly that. If you're going to ask someone how to do that, Frank Farian would be the right guy. He was the one producing Milli Vanilli.
Yes.
It's just a long time ago. I think Anthea is just now wondering who the hell was Milli Vanilli. We are not. We're old enough, and we just ran through that.
I'm older than you, thank goodness. But you read very well. You read that story. Yes, that was the original AI. They literally had to go out and lip sync everything that was created in a different studio. Well, now you're just creating it on your laptop or your desktop, and now you're going to feed that over to somebody else to lip sync.
Correct, exactly. So that's the future then. We'll watch it closely and we'll just see what's happening to your album. So if anyone who's listening out there is interested in hearing the songs from Chris, just please let us know. We'll be more than happy connecting you.
Let me know. I'll send you some of the songs. Hey, I got my cowboy hats back there. Be careful.
Excellent.
So Chris, what is one thing you are working on right now and what keeps you up at night in the best possible way?
Oh, that's an easy one. So we were talking about this here earlier. I became an owner of the Carrick Rangers. They are an Irish. Here, I'll put this up here like that so people can see.
Carrick Rangers. Yeah.
Carrick Rangers in Carrick. They're in Belfast, Ireland. I'm very blessed that the owner of the team let me come in as a minority owner. And I love soccer, love it to death. We were talking online. I've got a friend, Tony Sane, who played in the Bundesliga. I've got a friend, Brian McBride, who played in the Premier League. I'm a Fulham guy, and sometimes I'm a Bayern Munich guy, since we're in Munich recording this today.
True.
But all my German friends are Bayern guys and gals, so we joke all the time about it. And so I was very blessed. I'm heading over there in a couple of weeks again. We play in Belfast, and I love being a part of it because it is a smaller club and it's growing. And it's one of those organizations where I can lead my knowledge. I used to be the vice president of sales and marketing for a professional soccer team here in the States. And I want to help them get to that next level again. Bigger, better, faster, stronger. And so I'll use my tools from the past as well as AI to help lead them up, not only up the standings, but into the revenues and the growth that we're looking for out of Ireland.
Excellent.
That's my passion right now.
Wonderful. Yeah, you can already directly feel that there is a lot of passion in that. Another passion, if I'm not misguiding, is that you're a best-selling author with 4 books on SAP, on cloud and AI. Just take our listeners a bit with you. Who were you writing for? What's the book you maybe haven't written yet, but close to come?
Well, that's a great question. So I started the Mastering SAP series about 10 years ago, and I just kept plugging along. Well, then AI came along, so I put my manuscripts up in there, and it helped me. I am not a very good book writer, but these tools really helped. So I would go in there and I would upload my manuscript, my thoughts, my ideas. And so anybody who's interested in writing a book, Amazon has a great way to do that. Use your book or use the tools that they have, not only for uploading in Kindle and all that. That's great. They will also record your book with a voice, so you have audiobooks, because I'm a huge audiobook podcast guy. And the tools that are out there like Designer and Gemini's and all these, they will help you with formatting and setting up. So a dummy like me, all of a sudden, I became a 4-time best-selling author just by uploading my ideas, my thoughts, working on my manuscripts. I went from being like 1,680,000 with SAP to all of a sudden 6 months later, I was in the top 5 because people resonated with the SAP activities. And it was really cool for me because I'd always wanted to write books. Well, now my books end up being anywhere between 110, 150 pages. And the books are really designed for people to just get that foundation of what they want to work on. Be it SAP, be it AI, be it large language models, be it AI prompting in SAP or for cloud. And so I try to bring to the table a quick foundational book that people can read in a couple of hours to just get them, there's an old Italian movie that says, I just wet my beak a little bit. And it's interesting, it really does. Once people just get a little bit of foundational knowledge in there, wow, I tell you guys, they jump on it. It's interesting. I see people all the time that want to learn and do. And so I recommend trying it. There's no cost to it. Use your AI, have it help you, give it ideas and say, I need 100 pages of XYZ. And the funny thing is people then have to read their own materials from their AI. That's when you start getting like, wow, am I that smart?
Definitely. That sounds really like a good idea to do so. But we'll, in addition, link directly to your books as well to all the listeners. So we'll find the link in the show notes down below if you're interested. And I'm pretty convinced that there is a lot of good things in it to learn from.
Chris, you also host your own podcast, so ETMA Tech Talk. What have you learned about listening deeply to your guests, and has that changed how you lead?
Yeah, I became a better listener. I'm married for 27 years, and sometimes it goes in one ear and out the other. I walk around the office, and sometimes I feel like I'm listening, but I wasn't in tune. Well, listening to guests and having to listen to questions, and not to, but wanting to listen to questions and get the answers to be able to do follow-up answers and questions was quite enlightening. You can get into all of a sudden a rut in life. You can get into a space where all of a sudden you're, okay, same old, I'm just doing this. Well, it's quite exhilarating to be able to have conversations. And that's why I've done over 100 podcasts in the last year. I love interacting, and I feel like it's really helping me grow as an individual and as a human being to be able to listen more.
And I can fully agree. Since we're doing that, we've started in September last year, so we are, so to say, pretty young in what we're doing. But this is now episode 27, I guess, or 28 even.
Yes.
So we're doing exactly the same thing what you said. We're growing just by listening to so many amazing guests, and all of them from all different areas, industries, age, cultural aspects. So we have so many people we're able to learn from. So I can just fully agree on. So thanks for being with us today.
Well, thank you. This has been wonderful. I love hanging out. And I learn something every day. So please, anytime you want to talk.
Lifelong learning, that's the key.
That's good.
And, yeah.
Chris, we have a tradition on this show. So every guest brings a song. So one piece of music that captures something essential about your journey. What's yours and why?
Oh, well, it's funny. I made reference to him earlier. How about Du Hast by Rammstein? That would be a fun one, because I love that song. I love the American version. I love the German version. Have you ever seen Rammstein in concert?
Yes, I have, but a long time ago.
Well, see some of the newer stuff. They have really amped up their show. Because it's interesting. No matter what you see in their concert, and there's lots of musics out there, and I hope people. I'm one of those people that I love all variations. I love everything from the symphony to. I even have my cup for Motorhead when they were still together. To Rammstein, to anybody. I love listening to people with passion. And it's not necessarily because of the song, but it is the passion that group has and has had for a long period of time, just like other groups have had passion when they do. And that to me is what really sticks inside of my heart, is because I still have a passion for being able to lead a company, to grow technology, and to help others in this world. And at the end of the day, that's the best I think I can do for myself, is to help others.
Excellent. That's lovely. And just builds the bridge directly to the second tradition what we have at One Day in Transformation. And this is a challenge, and another tip, but a challenge in real that our listeners can just directly try out within the next 24 hours, or at least within the next couple of days, that actually moves something. And we're doing that on our own. So Anthea and myself, we always just try to just do what we get from our guests in our podcast. But maybe you have an idea, a challenge, something we can just hand out to our listeners.
I would love to have them do a couple of things. And I'm going to say just two. First of all, reach me on LinkedIn, because anywhere I travel in the world, I will have either a coffee or a bourbon with you. And if you want to talk technology, or if you want to talk soccer, or if you just want to hang out and ask a question, I love to do that, no matter where I am in the world. So that's number one. Number two, I want you to really think about this for a moment. Remember that, as I said earlier, this too shall pass. No matter if you're in a bad state right now, I want you to think about that. This is going to pass, and I'm going to have some success in life. If you're having success in life, just think about, okay, this too will pass. Let's prepare for a future. It may not crash and burn like I had with one of my firms, but you may fall a peg. You may lose a deal, but you may win the next deal. Don't sit there and go deep into depth of sadness. I'm a firm believer that mental strength will help individuals. So that's why I use that this too shall pass if something is going wrong. I want people to think positively and grow their mental positivity if they would. And even if you just do it for a couple of moments a day, or even just once in your entire life, think about, this too shall pass. We're going to do great. Next deal is mine. Be positive.
I love that. So we have an easy one because the LinkedIn connection already is there, so we don't have to do that. We already are connected with you, but to other listeners, please do so. Reach out to Chris. We'll link the LinkedIn link directly here in the show notes below. And the second thing, be positive. Well, we're coming to an end already. It's close to 50 minutes. Chris, time is flying by, but I'd love to do something which we haven't done before yet. But you're the perfect guest for exactly this, doing that for the first time, and that's a one-word round. So we would like to say one word, and you respond with another word, and just a single word which comes to your mind. Fast, instinctive, not much thinking. Are you ready to go?
Got it. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Perfect. SAP.
Legacy.
Oh, that's future.
Courage.
Everybody.
Solar.
What is it?
Solar.
Solar.
Oh, solar. I'm sorry, sweetie.
No. Solar.
I'm going to use two words. The future.
I love that. Germany.
Oh, awesome. Heritage. It's part of my heritage.
Then transformation.
Daily.
And the future.
Great.
Excellent. That was wonderful. We just should repeat that with all our guests. I love that. Really, that was great.
Do that. That was great. You made me think for a minute. And as a German Irish American, I am very proud. I still have I go every. I'm going to step back for a moment, and I know we're going to have to close. But my mother's side of the family are Volks, and they were from Germany. And my great grandfather and grandmother came to this country, and no matter where or what you're doing, they came here and they wanted to. We're going through Lent right now. We have our Friday fish fries. We have specific areas we go to in specific restaurants. We always go to as a family, as part of our German heritage. And I think heritage and remembering who you are and where your family came from is so important. And I'm very proud to have German heritage in my blood.
That's wonderful. And that's one of the best closing words we've ever had. So, Chris, that was exactly that kind of conversation we did build that show for. Honest, provocative, generous, intelligent, smart, and optimistic. And that's exactly what we wanted to have. Thanks for being here. I can't wait to just maybe have a coffee with you here in Munich. So once you're getting to Munich or close by, just drop us a message, please. And we'll be here with a coffee or maybe a bourbon or maybe some German beer might be here as well.
I was going to say we could stop in one of the beer houses. Yes.
So you've reminded us that transformation is not about having the right strategy document. It's about having the courage to bury what used to work. That's a profoundly difficult thing, and you've lived it. So we're really grateful.
If you want to follow Chris' work, and we strongly recommend that you do, head to approyo.com, to muguto.com, and to georgianbunny.com. All the links down below in the show notes. Chris, any final words to our community?
Yes. Love each other. Don't fight with each other. Life is too short. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
And to everyone listening, if this episode moves something in you, share it with one person. That's how transformation spreads. See you next week.
See you next week and take care. Thank you very much.